All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Hope Shot Addiction to Success. Tonight, we will be hearing Kelsie's story. First off, I'd like to start off with please, everybody, comment, share the feed. We'd like as many people as possible to share this so we can get a message of hope out to anybody who needs it. And we'll save a little bit of time after her story to take a few comments and do a little back and forth. So my friend Kelsie here has graciously decided to join us and tell her story. I've known her for about 6 years. Yeah, about six and a half years. And what are we doing?
Clarity statement, dude. Before you do the intro.
I got cut off already.
Nope.
I've known her for about 6.5 years, and it's been a blessing to watch her grow in her recovery and watch her family grow. And before I let her tell her story, we're going to have Kelly read the Hope Shot Clarity Statement.
Listen, it's not that serious. All right. Clarity Statement. The Hope Shot Clarity Statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of the family. Now you introduce.
Well, I've already done the introduction. So as you guys can see tonight, Kelsie's actually at our house. So we're doing this all together, and hopefully it'll be very conversational. So without any further ado, here is Kelsie.
Okay. All right. Well, hi. My name is Kelsie Cross. My sobriety date is January 15th of 2015. I do have a sponsor. I do sponsor other women. I have worked all 12 steps in a 12-step recovery program. And I guess I will get started on my story. I want you to know that I am very nervous, so bear with me here. It's weird having no audience to give feedback. I'm just talking to my own face, so it's very strange. So I was born in Palm Harbor, Florida, and I didn't have anything really horrible in my life. I had two very supportive parents. I had a big brother. My life was pretty awesome. And I will say that when I was born, my mom put an ad out in the paper, and she was looking for like a full-time nanny for me, like a caretaker while she worked, because my mom is a real estate agent. My dad was a mailman, so they both worked pretty hard all the time. And this family answered the ad, and they just moved down from New York. It was a woman, her husband, and their 3 kids, two girls and a boy. And so she started to take care of me. And when I was 3, my parents got divorced, and it was volatile. And it affected me a lot as a kid. It was very messy. And it emotionally affected me. And so my nanny's name was Christine. So I would find myself at Christine's house a lot. And her family, just loud and Italian, and loved food and loved hugs, and very loud and very Italian. And, but they were my normal. They were my joy. They taught me how to swim. They taught me how to ride a bike. I was put in karate with their son. They taught me how to play basketball, taught me how to curse, taught me how to listen to gangster rap, taught me how to play video games. Like, these kids took me in as their little sister. This woman took me in as her 4th child. And when I was there, I felt safe because, thank you, Sherry, my sober shirt. When I went to my mom or dad's, and I don't blame them, but there was a lot of tell your mother, tell your father. It was a lot of hate. And so I had a really hard time with that growing up. And so, I know a lot of people feel this way but from a very young age, I felt different. I was like a weird kid. Teachers would like call my mom and be like, your daughter was just like under a table daydreaming, talking to herself. And like, I was just kind of like, I always felt like apart from. I was very much a loner, very much a daydreamer. I was always in my own head. I was just a weird kid. And, and so like, from the very beginning, I felt that difference from me and other people. I was not like them. I just wasn't. I was weird. I was the weird, quiet kid. And that was that. That's kind of how I established myself from the get-go in elementary school. And the reason I mentioned Christine is because she takes a pivotal point in my life. When I was 12, my mom called me and she told me that Christine had cancer and it was spreading rapidly. And by the end of that year, Christine had passed away. And I remember that moment was just like, that was like the moment I knew I hated God. Like he took away, sorry, I always cry when I talk about her, but he took away my safety. He took away my normal, like he took away my love. Like it was like so unfair. Like, why? What did I do to deserve that? And I already had that mindset at 12 years old. What did I do to deserve this? And I got angry. I got angry at God. I got angry at everybody because they took Christine away from me. This beautiful woman who just like lit up a room and made me feel when she gave me a hug that I was the only thing that mattered to her at that moment. And so I started drinking and I started dabbling in whatever I could get my hands on. My dad, thank God, got kidney stones on a regular basis because I got to, pick at his Percocets when he wasn't looking. And, I do remember the first time I drank. I want to let you guys know now, I was a stone cold alcoholic and a drug addict. So drinking, I drank a lot in my life. So that's going to be something I do talk about regardless. But when I was 10 years old, I went to the office with a stomach ache. I didn't want to be at school. And the only person who could pick me up was Christine's dad, my grandpa, Tony. And he brought me back to Christine's house and put a scoop of vanilla ice cream in a bowl and a big moat of Kahlua. And I immediately ate the Kahlua part. And when he went to go do something else, I went over to the counter and I did another moat of Kahlua. And I sat and watched Blue's Clues, just chilling the rest of the day, feeling good, But from there, it just kind of like, I needed more immediately. Like even at 10 years old, I knew Kahlua good, makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I need more of this immediately. And so throughout my high school years, obviously I just wanted to not be in my own head. You name it, shrooms, ecstasy, acid. I loved acid. Stealing my dad's painkillers, stealing my mom's anti-anxiety meds. My dad, he would buy a 6-pack of Keystone Light every year, and he would drink one of them a year. And so I would take a Keystone and some of his Benson and Hedges and go to a dried out retention pond in the back of our neighborhood and drink and smoke by myself. And this was my life. Like my friends would do it along with me, but then they'd want to like go rollerblade or play in a pool. And I'd be like, no, let's get fucked up, man. Like, what are you doing? And so like, it kind of like took those proportions. So by the time I was in high school, I could barely keep it together. I managed to,
I was a trippy too.
You were a trippy too. Thank you, Sherry. Just love that acid. And so I managed to graduate high school quite literally by the skin of my teeth. I think I had like a 2.18 and 87 absences. And I think they just wanted me to get the hell out of their school. So they let me graduate. And at that time, I had met a boy named Ian, who actually I knew my whole life. His mom used to babysit me as well. And they called him, well, I can't say his last name, but Ian Blank Booze Hound. That was his name. That was his nickname. So I was in love, He was Irish. He had a drinking problem and he was fantastic. And so, I mean, as many days of the week as I could, I'd be over at his apartment, getting shit faced. And then I remember one time he said he had to go to Port Charlotte for something, and he brought methadone back with him, and that's back when, you know what I'm talking about, the wafers. And I remember eating that methadone and just going like 45 minutes later, and like nothing in my world was troublesome. Everything made sense. I felt cool. I felt relaxed. I felt good. And I knew I just needed this in my life all the time. And so by the time I was like 18, 19, I graduated when I was 17. I woke up one day in my room, and that was kind of the first time I knew I kind of had an issue going on, because I went out to the kitchen, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. My mom was putting the dishes away, minding her own business. And I went up to her and I said, hey, I think I have a drug problem. I think I need to go to detox. And she paused and she didn't say anything. She didn't even look at me. She just kept looking down, but I could literally feel her heart break into a million pieces. And she said, okay, well, me and your stepdad will get you in somewhere. And they did. And that was my first time at rehab. And I met this guy at detox named One Eye Mike. He had a fake eye from a skateboarding accident, and he was the coolest. Love at first sight. And so I left detox, and I was like, I'm cured. And he's like, you want to go do some acid? And I was like, you betcha. So so I went off with Mike I have no idea, but he proceeded to do copious amounts of cocaine and acid. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I did too. And so it was like, literally, I still think about it. It was one of the weirdest, worst nights of my life. And I lost total grip with reality. It was something else. But I ended up, like, we didn't move for like 11 hours. We couldn't move. We were just out of it. And then he like snapped out of it, and he's like, you got to drive my car. And it was a freaking Charger on 22s. And I'm like, tripping balls. I don't know what to do. So I somehow managed to get home. But after that, it was a lot of the same thing. Like me going out, doing what I want to do, getting the drugs I need, working the jobs I needed to work. I was a bartender. I was a server. I worked in the food and beverage industry. And, when I was out of options, I'd run to mom and be like, I need help. I need to go to detox. And she would always save me because, I'm her kid. And a little information about my mom. She is like a cheerleader. She's this peppy woman. She has a fun sing-song voice. She's just fun-loving and sweet. And one day, she found a doctor for me, and she's like, I'm going to help you get off the painkillers. I said, okay. And I met with this doctor, and he's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you on what you're on now and lean you down onto Suboxone. And I was like, oh, okay, if you think that's the best thing for me. And he's like, so how much are you taking a day? And I lied through my teeth, and I was like, I'm taking 400 milligrams of oxycodone a day, doctor. And so I just got free drugs for like 6 months. I just got free prescribed drugs for 6 months because he wanted to wean me down, and it was fantastic. And when it got time for me to finally go to the Suboxone, my mom's like, you know what you need? You need to go to Dade City, Florida with your stepdad. You have the country air there. You can live on his farm. You need fresh air, and it's going to be good for you. And I was like, all right, whatever. But what she didn't realize is my stepbrother's in Dade City, and our common denominator is we like to get fucked. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yes.
Okay. We like to get fucked up. And so I was like, cha-ching. So I get there, I move up there, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's rural, and there's a lot of land, and me and my brother are like, oh man, we're gonna just party together. So I got a job at a country club. I enrolled in college, and I was like, this is my new start. This is what I'm gonna do. And within like 2 weeks, I had found a drug dealer. I was getting completely drunk at work because the bartenders were awesome. I had failed all of my classes, like even before the middle of the semester, I had to withdraw or fail myself from all my classes. And so things up there didn't do so great. And so one day my brother came home and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to cash in my college fund and I'm going to move to Key West and I'm going to start a new chapter." And I said, "Me too. I'm going to do that. I'm going to come with you." And so I packed a backpack. I had like, couple gross t-shirts, some pants, $12.47, whatever drugs I had on me or I could cop before I leave, and down we headed to Key West, Florida. And when I got there, the first thing I did, because I was always good about this, is I got a job, I found a bar I liked, and I found a drug dealer. And so when I was down there, conks are interesting. That's what Key West natives are called. And it was this homeless guy, George, and he lived in the mangroves. And so in the morning when I was dope sick, I'd creep down mile marker 9 and I'd scream in the mangroves, "George, George!" And he would eventually come running out. And I was like, I need help. And he would drive me to my drug dealer's house and he would run inside and he would get me what I needed. And I was on a lot. I was on about 25 methadone a day at that point in time because that's what this person had. But what George failed to tell me was this person was a snowbird and was getting ready to move back to Canada for half the year. And so once he left, I laid on a floor for about a month just sweating and dying. And I thought maybe that would be enough for me, but it wasn't. I found other people. I found worse things. My life got very dark down there. Once I got fired from my first job, I started working at this place called Cheeseburger Key West, and it's like a melting pot down there. There's a lot of people from Eastern Europe, and this girl, Valerie from Russia, she's like, "Hey, you should probably marry somebody and get them their green card. This is a good opportunity for you to make some money." And I'm like, "All right, well, like, what are we talking about here? Like, how much money?" And she's like, "Oh, around $30,000. I have a friend who needs a wife." And I was like, "All right, well, like, let's set up a dinner and we'll see what's going on." And I met him and we talked for a little bit. He told me what he expected, what the reality of it is. And I said, "Okay, well, like, what's in it for me? Like, what do I get?" He's like, "I'll give you $30,000. And so 2 days later, I'm at the courthouse and my last name is Taranyenka. And so I couldn't, he gave me so much money. I absolutely destroyed myself down there. I got to the point where I was now working at strip clubs. I couldn't keep a job. I could not draw a sober breath. My arms had abscesses and bruises. I was like maybe 110 pounds. And I became the world's worst stripper. I had no gusto about it. I was just like, "What's up, bro?" And no dancing, no nothing. I hated myself. I literally just wanted to die. And it's really bad when your fake husband comes into a strip club and shakes your arms because he couldn't find you for 3 days, screaming in your face, "You're going to die. You are going to die." And I called security on him and got him kicked out because I wasn't hearing none of that. But that's how in denial I was. There's a person that literally does not know me, has known me for maybe 6 months of my life and can look at me and say, "Oh my God, you're killing yourself." And not long after that, I decided to go get my hair done one day, like get it cut. And my hairdresser left her wallet on the floor, so I grabbed it. And when I left, I went immediately to Zales, bought some jewelry, then went immediately to the pawn shop and pawned it and went and got drugs. And about 2 weeks later, I had police officers pounding my door down. And I was so scared. They left eventually. I did not answer the door, but I told fake husband, I was like, "Fake husband, I have to go back to Dade City for a little while." And so I managed to get back up there. My stepdad and I got this little crappy pickup truck. It was like a Datsun 5-speed pickup truck. It was more rust than truck, but it went. And I found myself back where I began in Dade City. And eventually I got pulled over, got arrested. I had to go all the way back down to Key West to go to jail. And I shaved my head. I Britney Spears to jail. I was only in there for 4 months, and I was like, this is my life now, jail life, and cut all my hair off and just completely razored it. Gained about 30 pounds, and they're like, oh, you can leave. Cool. All right. Well, I got back up to Dade City, and things got bad again. I could not stay sober. I didn't know. Like, I was literally just like living at this farm, just completely fucked up day and night. My stepdad would beat my door down. You need to get a job, this, that, the other. Like, I just wouldn't listen to him. My mom wasn't sleeping. She was just in despair about like if I'm going to live through the night. And so I asked to go to detox again, where I met Bubba. And I loved Bubba, and he loved me. And so we got out of detox after a 6-day whirlwind romance in there, and we moved in together. I moved to Plant City to his double wide trailer, and we lived harmoniously for about 2 weeks until we got back on our bullshit. And he went uptown, I went downtown. So he was up all night and I was sleeping all day. So, but it was volatile. It was awful. We weren't awful to each other, but our lives were unmanageable. Within the first month, he crashed both of his cars, which left us with the Datsun. And the second crash got him arrested. And the thing about Bubba was he was separated from his wife, who was battling breast cancer, had no hair from radiation. She had 2 small children. And I just came in and moved into this house that she freshly moved out of and, staked my claim. And so when Bubba went to jail, she basically came in and said, get out. And I said, yes, ma'am. And so I moved back to the farm in Dade City, and he would come. He was using my Datsun pickup truck to come and go and see me. And one night he had a curfew from probation, and he took my truck home. And the next morning I got a call from his wife, and she said, Bubba's dead. He ran into a tree in your truck. And the first thing I did was feel sorry for myself. What about me? What am I going to do? And she called me. He had this quilt that his grandma made him, and he loved it. He slept with it every night. And she asked me, she said, do you have Bubba's quilt? And I said, no. And I lied through my teeth. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have this quilt. And so after that, my cheerleader of a mom said, you know what you need? You need fresh Minnesota air. You need to go up with your cousin. She's a yoga instructor. It's really good for you. I heard it's really healthy. You just need to go live up there for a little bit. And so off I went to Minnesota, and I got off the plane. I had a backpack, 2 backpacks, one in front and one in back, because I was a freaking mess and didn't know how to properly pack clothes. And I walked through this liquor store that was just 2 gigantic openings, and I grabbed whatever 2 bottles of liquor I could and put it under the front backpack and just kept walking, and luckily nobody caught me. But since I didn't know anybody in Minnesota, like, I hid those bottles in her basement where she let me stay in her laundry room, and I drank off those until I could find my footing. Unfortunately, I could not find any drugs in Minnesota, so I drank and I drank and I drank and I drank, and she made me do yoga, and I was always so drunk. And doing yoga when you're drunk, it really sucks. And I just I was like the Michelin Man. I came to her, this emaciated drug addict, and within 4 months I was this bloated, fat, sweaty alcoholic. It was impressive. It was unreal. And it started to snow. I am a Floridian. It is cold. So I moved back down here. And about 6 months after I moved back down here, my dad died of a heart attack. And I remember I was delivering pizzas in Palm Harbor, and I was getting ready to put a pizza in my back seat, and I checked my phone, and my stepmom texted me, your dad just died, come to the hospital. And I fell apart, man. And before I even rushed to the hospital, I stopped at Dope House and I got pills, and I proceeded to snort them off a freaking hospital toilet seat and then go, why, all over my dad's dead body. I had to make it about me, you know, like his poor wife. He hasn't seen me. He wouldn't talk to me. Like I barely saw my dad. And, you know, my poor stepmom's just like heartbroken and I'm just making it about me. And on the day of the funeral, I was so fucked up. It was a Sunday. And I was about ready to go to Sylvan Abbey. And I stopped at a 7-Eleven at like 9 a.m. or something. And I tried to steal a bottle of wine and almost got arrested the day of my dad's funeral. Like my mom had to beg them, if I remember correctly, not to arrest me. Beg them. And I was at his funeral in front of all of his work colleagues. He had been a mailman for them for 35 years. All of our family just making a complete ass of myself. Like I was so out of it. And yeah, I'm already on the floor. Do yoga. But yeah, so I was really good at making spectacles out of myself at funerals. That was like my specialty. I really, really was good at fucking funerals up. And so shortly after that, there was this boy, Adam, and go figure, he was a mailman and he lived in Dade City because I have daddy issues. I immediately clung to him. And, you know, I somehow managed to convince this poor, sweet man that I was like a functioning human. When in reality, my glove compartment, every crevice under my car seats were just jam-packed with like dirty spoons and empty baggies and empty booze bottles. But I just like managed to somehow appear normal. And so he accepted me and he let me move into his house in Dade City. And we played house nicely for a little bit. I got a job at a brass tap in Dade City where I proceeded to probably be one of the absolute worst employees ever. I could not draw a sober breath. And you got to just taste, they had 457 or whatever types of beer on hand at all time. I got to taste beer. People would buy me beer. I was just always drinking. I'd have Dope Man meeting me in the alley in the back, and I'd go, sorry, Kim. I'm so sorry, Kim. My ex-boss is watching. I'd go shoot up in the bathroom, and like I was just a fucking mess. But she really did like the way I closed the restaurant, because obviously I was on drugs and I had, you know those painkiller energies, and so it was perfect because Adam worked days. I worked nights. She said we had the cleanest bathrooms, though.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And so I could get away with murder because Adam was gone while I was up and about, or he was sleeping while I was up and about doing my thing. Well, one night I got off work about 4 p.m. I shut the bar down and I went to a dope hole and there was just a bunch of people in there. And I got this really, really bad feeling in my stomach. And when I left, it was off Lock Street, if anybody's familiar with Lock Street. So when I left, 4 nice police officers escorted behind me. They were very, very, very nice people. So in my 4-cylinder Toyota Corolla, I was like, I'm going to go down the streets and avenues of Lock Street and get rid of these fools. And so I'm bopping and weaving, and they came at me from all angles. And I ate everything I could. I shoved everything down my pants. And they searched my car. They found my paraphernalia. And then when I got in, I was like eating everything from my pants. And they somehow caught that on camera, go figure. But I got my first drug charge. And I got released immediately from jail. And they said, you're going to go to drug court and you're going to do these outpatient courses called West Care. And you have court every 2 weeks and you have to do this and that. And I was like, oh boy, okay. And I was very unsuccessful. I could not stay sober. And my drinking reached proportions to where I was so bloated that I'm pretty sure I had fatty liver disease or my liver was failing. My eyebrows were turning white. My face was, it was unreal. I was very unhealthy. I'd wake up and I'd feel like I was cooking from the inside out because my heart was beating so fast. I was shaking so bad I could barely do anything until I got a good amount of alcohol in my body. Because I figured, okay, I have drug court, so I don't need to do drugs, but I can still drink. So I got this, That did not work out for me. When you're drunk visiting your probation officer and she gives you a breathalyzer and you fail and she's like, you're drunk, you're an alcoholic, you need help. And I'm like, no, I'm not. There's a problem there. And she violated me and I went back to jail. And eventually my dad had 2 houses on his property. He had grandma's house and then the 70s house. And the 70s house was absolutely condemnable. It was moldy. It had rats. It had roaches. It had spiders, so many spiders, had black mold. There was no carpet anywhere because we destroyed it and ripped it up. And I was laying on this mattress on the floor and pretty sure it was haunted, but that's irrelevant. But I was alone. I literally was alone. Like I had nobody wanted to be around me anymore. And I was drinking to survive. And eventually I started using again because I had no solution. So I started intravenously using again. And one day my little brother, James, came to see me the day after Christmas in 2014. And I wanted to take him bowling. And I remember leaving my house, but I don't remember getting to the bowling alley. And apparently I made quite an ass out of myself at the bowling alley. And when I woke up, he was gone. There was shit thrown all over my house. It was an absolute mess. And something clicked in me. I was like, I'm literally going to die alone in this house and nobody's going to give a fuck. No, everyone's going to probably be relieved that I'm finally dead. And that was the first time I didn't want that to happen. I had never felt that way before. I was completely apathetic. I would get mad when I'd wake up and not dead. And I was so tired. I was so tired of living that way. I was so tired of this cycle of just waking up and my body just completely betraying me until I gave it what it wants and I had no choice in the matter. No say in it. And I called my probation officer and I said, I think I have a problem. I need help. She goes, yeah, you do. Yeah, you really do. She goes, Friday, you're going to go to court and I'm going to put you in jail for 2 weeks and then we're going to find you a place to live. And I said, okay, what time is it?
Just keep rolling.
Okay. All right. Cool beans. So I went to jail happily. It was weird. For the first time, there was like a peace. Like I felt peaceful. I felt calm. Like I felt I was going to be okay. I called my mom a couple of days before and I told her, hey, I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to go to a program and I think I'm going to be okay. And she was very skeptical. And I did. This very sweet, lively, first, this very awesome man named Tim Cashman came to see me and he interviewed me. And I love that man a lot. If anybody here knows who Tim Cashman is, he is a very awesome person and I'm very grateful for him. And then 2 weeks later, I got released to this very jovial woman named Lisa. And she works for Ace Opportunities. And she was just so excited. She got me a donut and a pack of cigarettes. And I had literally nothing on me but the clothes I came in with. And she took me shopping in her little thrift store in her office of the Quadplex. And all these girls made me dinner. And I was just so fucking scared. I was so fucking scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to live like this. And so I came in and 2 days later, they're having like a house meeting and girls are crying and getting their phone taken away and kicked out. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? But I can't leave because I'm court ordered to be here. And I was just like, oh my God. And my mom brought me clothes. And it was the first time when she offered me money. I had like $76 of my money that she had. She gave that to me and I didn't accept anything from her. And so I did it. I did the thing. The first month, obviously a halfway house, you got to earn your stuff. But I went to meetings, but I wasn't listening. And then the second month, all I did was cry. I felt guilty and remorseful. I hated myself. I just didn't want to feel like this anymore. Everyone's smiling and laughing and making fun of their own lives. And I'm like, this isn't funny. This isn't funny. Life sucks. they're like, and then one week they just talking about the 9th step and everybody's loving on each other and mending their ways and getting their families back. And I'm like, fuck you. Jeez. And so finally, like, I couldn't take the pain anymore. And one day they're talking about the 9th step and how perfect their lives are. And I shot my hand up and I said, my name's Kelsie and I hate myself and I don't know what to do about it. And I literally feel like I'm going to die if I have to live like this another day. And thank God I did, because this little woman came up to me and asked me if she could sponsor me, and that's kind of where it took off. I said yes, and she said jump, and I said how high. She said call me every day, and the funny thing is, she was an ace with me. She literally lived in the next unit. I went to my unit and I called her. I could hear her through the walls, but I still picked the phone up and I called her. I worked my steps with her. And I turned around and, like, I was amazed before I was halfway through and my life was starting to change. I got a good job where my boss fell in love with me and she fell in love with what we were doing at ACE. And so she started hiring all these ACE girls because she just loved what we were about so much. And she was giving all these people chances all of a sudden. And I was gaining these friends and I was getting my relationship back with my mom and my stepdad and my stepmom, who, I really put her through the ringer when my dad died. And, like, all these things started happening. But what I really like to talk about is, like, when you get sober, life happens still. But so when I was about 3 months sober, I met Matt, and he was skinny and nerdy. He had this awful goatee and his glasses were put together by tape. And I loved him and I needed to marry him. And so very early in sobriety, I started a relationship with Matt. And when I was about 6 months sober, we found out we were pregnant and we were scared, but we were very excited. So when I graduated the halfway house, I moved in with him and his parents. And then on our 10-week ultrasound, I found out that it wasn't viable and we had miscarried. And it tore through me. I absolutely fell apart. But the cool thing is, and this was the first true miracle of being in recovery that I felt, was I didn't want to go use or drink about it. In fact, I felt comforted knowing that there's people that are going to still love me through this. I'm going to be okay no matter what. And, bottom line, like, I had a higher power I truly believed in and that I trusted. And I still do trust, obviously. But at that point in time, I was very vulnerable and something had shifted in me. I wasn't worried. I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. I wasn't scared for my sobriety. I felt like I was going to be okay. And then Matt and I got engaged. And then the next year he relapsed and it was really bad. He put us in a considerable amount of debt. He had some emotional affairs. He really fucked us up. But I started going to a program to get help for people who live with people like me and Matt, and they helped me a lot. And then after that, we got pregnant again with my daughter Penny. And I told myself, I don't need AA, I need to be a mom. And so I fired my sponsor, stopped going to meetings, I stopped calling women, and when they would call me, everything was great and everything was okay. And then I had Penny. And I was so dry by then. And then I got hit with probably some of the worst postpartum depression you can ever have. And on a daily basis, I thought of killing myself, killing my baby. Are we going to drown together today? I lived on the 3rd story. Am I going to hurl her off out of the window and then myself? Am I going to go 100 miles per hour and crash us both into a tree? I was not okay. I was untreated and I was also mentally very sick. And every day I just wanted to die. I don't think I've actually been that miserable in my entire life. And it got so bad that I had to go on medication, but I still wasn't treating my spiritual issue. And I was still pretty unhealthy. And I had met this girl named Jordan. And one day for my home group, instead of going to home group, I told Matt, I'm going to go to my home group, but I was really actually planning to go kill myself with an overdose. And instead I text Jordan and I told her I was going to die if you don't sponsor me. And she said, absolutely, we'll start working immediately. And so I did. I started working the steps in a different way than I ever had before. I started working through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got rid of all my, like I did my resentments again. We went through my character defects. And then we got to step 9, that fucking step 9, where everybody's happy and everybody's mended and life is gummy bears and marshmallows and rainbows. And I still had some people on there from the first time I did my steps. And so one day I finally remembered Bubba's wife's name. And I reached out to her and I sent her a very long message. And I said, I have your quilt. And she agreed to meet me. And I was so scared driving up to Plant City with that damn quilt in my car. I was so scared to look her in the eye. And I got out of my car and she hugged me. And she gave me a really long hug. And she said, I'm so glad you're okay. And if that isn't this program working in my life, then I don't know what is, because I am not the person that people want to do that to when I'm out there. People don't want to hug me and say, I'm so glad to see you. And she just embraced me and said, I'm so glad you're okay. When last time, she saw me, I was living in her house, doing drugs in her bathroom. And I gave her that quilt back. And it was like this closure I never thought I would feel in my life. And, so today things are so beautiful. My husband and I are doing so well. That's my best friend. That's my partner in crime. We have our stepson, my stepson, his son, full time. We have full custody of this little boy. We have 2 beautiful daughters. I just had another little girl 3 months ago. I had a wedding with 200 people that about 70% of them were people from my 12-step program, people who love me because of who I am today. I have gotten to see people just work miracles in my sobriety, just do beautiful things, like hopeless situations, just crawl out of them. I have a beautiful life today. People want me to be employed for them. People want me at their house. My mom doesn't hide her purse in her car and lock it so I won't rummage through it to find her Xanax and loose money. I can be there today for people. I can be the person that I never thought I would be. And I'm a homeowner. I get mail at one mailbox that my license matches the address. I mean, these things might seem funny and small, but sometimes I'll be walking from my mailbox and I'm like, holy shit, I'm like a sober adult. And I put in this work and look where I am today. Sometimes I still can't believe it. As Kelly calls it, I have imposter syndrome sometimes because I can't believe how beautiful my life is today. And I'm so grateful for that. And these 2, they're my family. Look at them. I love them. And that's just some of them. That's just scratching the surface of the love I have today. And I am one of those people in the rooms now that gets to share and laugh at myself and hug people and bake them cakes and shower them. That's all I know how to do. I'm not good with words. I'll bake you a cake. And, but
the best cakes.
The best cakes.
I cannot tell you the amount of gratitude I feel on a daily basis, just opening my eyes and going, I made it here. And it wasn't even me. It says it somewhere that I have no more power than I do in my pinky finger. I have no power in this. I have no say in this, because when I choose how to run my life, I end up in a condemnable house in Dade City with rats and spiders bloated on a mattress. This is my higher power. This is my program working in and through me. And, thank you guys for having me on tonight. This was an incredible experience. And thank you, Caesar and Kelly, for letting me come to your house and hide here because I'm a nervous wreck.
But you did good. And listen, there's so many people on here right now. Pumpkin cheesecake, cupcakes, like they have been the recipient of your baked goods. I mean, it's awesome.
So I just want to add this. On Sunday nights, we spend a lot of time talking about being authentically awkward and finding our people. That is how this happened. Like, this is.
You should have seen us before the show. We were all like fighting and and Kelsey's nervous. And then it was just insane. We're all insanely authentic. Hashtag authentically awkward. Justin, you're not stealing that from me.
I can do what I want.
TM.
I'm a hashtag.
But I mean, it's such a blessing to have people in our lives that accept us for exactly who we are, flaws and goofiness and all of that included. And I mean, Kelsie is family. Like, I talk to Kelsie every day. She knows all of the insanity and she knows all of the good things, and we celebrate the wins and we talk about the losses. And it's just it's amazing to be able to I've never heard the whole story
Me either.
put together. We still make asses out of ourselves when we go bowling, except we just do it sober. We wear thrift store clothes. We have a fantastic time. Go ahead, Justin. You want to talk about some of the
comments,
or do you want me to read them off as you put them?
Listen, I mean, I can go back up. I've been just putting them out there but here's one for you, Kelsie, from I guess that's your old boss.
It is. It's my old boss. She had to fire me.
I was here watching today.
I made a wedding cake for her too.
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, so let me ask you a question. Does Matt have a nickname?
I mean, we just call him Matt or Maddie.
Every dude that you've been with up to that point had a nickname.
Oh no!
And I'm like, wait, she broke the cycle finally.
Yes, I got sober and had someone with a
an actual name.
A real name. Oh shit. Oh my God. Yo, Kelsie, that was such an amazing story. Like, I've never heard it. So it was new for me, but it was such a good story and it was fun. You made it fun.
Thank you. In case anybody's wondering, Vadim did get his green card. He is a U.S. citizen.
Oh,
we
nice.
did it. He's okay. So don't worry.
Dude, I never knew that part of your story either. I had no idea.
I'm surprised he didn't want to run back to Ukraine after being married to me for 6 months. Like, F this, I'm out.
Hey, I was surprised, but the Hope Shot brings out a lot in people, I guess. It brings out all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
his birthday.
No, it was Elmer.
Wait, you went
God.
from Elmer to
Elmer.
Yeah, but she called him Bubba. See, Bubba wasn't his birth name.
His birth name was Elmer.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I'm just you were so nervous, and then once you got rolling, that
It was just like a conversation with her.
fantastic.
I actually just stared at Justin like I was talking to him the whole
Aw.
time.
That's what I do every
It
time
helped
I'm
me a
on here.
lot. It helped me a lot.
At least you're comfortable with me. I feel good about this.
Yeah, we had a staring contest you had no idea about.
No, hold on. Let
Did
me
I
add-
win or you win?
show the shirt.
Oh yeah.
She used to wear this shirt, back in the 90s?
No, I was like 3 in the 90s.
Okay, I'm old, so in the early 2000s, ironically.
Yeah, I had a Abercrombie and Fitch shirt that said sober that I wore 3 days a week, just like this. And I was in fact not sober. I think it was 10th or 11th grade. But my aunt Becky had this made for me, so she's like, "It's not funny anymore. It's real."
Hey, just speaking of shirts, if anybody I know a lot of people ask us about shirts. Well, we got shirts and these are dry fit, and this is the golden black one. And we have this one right here, which is blue. They're all metallic.
Everybody's always asking about shirts.
Yeah.
And then we have on the back, it says, I am, you are, we are, the Hope Shot. And then we have the pink one too. This one turned out really good. We got the pink one for all you people that like pink. So we have gold, pink, and blue, and then we have gray ones as well, but that's only in the pink and blue. So if you guys are interested in any shirts, message us, let us know sizes. If you're out of state, we could always ship it to you. Just let us know. That's all I got.
You like that? That was probably the best segue into a shirt ever.
I had to hit it somewhere, bro.
Just we talked about a shirt and we slid right in there.
Hey, yeah, and Sherry, I sent those shirts out just to let you know they're on their way. So she got her shirts. She got 3 shirts. So I sent those out yesterday.
So we're gonna get Kelsie to join us some Sundays.
Yes, I would love to have Kelsie.
Conversation just to like, you know, she fits in with the authentically awkward.
Definitely fits in our crew. Hey, guys, if you're interested in shirt, please message us. Hit us up on the Hope Shot. Let us know size and all that stuff, and I'll let you know all the info. But yes, we would love to have Kelsie on the Sunday nights, definitely.
So I just want to personally say thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for doing this. I truly believe somebody out there really needed to hear that. All of us, you know, when we tell our stories, it's somebody said on here about our bottoms and how bad they have to be, and not everyone has to get that far down. What are we reading?
Ain't no gram like the program.
I like that.
Oh, I like that. But you know, hopefully when we tell our stories, somebody hears it and they don't have to go through the misery that we went through. I mean, that we laugh when we tell our stories because it's ridiculous, but it's heartbreaking when we're going through what we go through.
Yeah.
And now she's in the club of people that can laugh about it because, I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, when you look back at it, you're like, I can't believe that's who I was. And it takes a really short amount of time compared to how long we're out there to get a different perspective. And yes, God is so good.
That's my Aunt Becky. Hi, Aunt Becky.
Hi, Aunt Becky.
The one who got her the sober
Wearing your shirt.
Representing.
And yeah, I am grateful.
I needed to hear this. Oh, Melissa, thank you, sweet soul, for sharing. I love that. Love the show. I love reading these comments. Like, you can get lost sometimes when you're on the show and you don't look at them. And I like how they pop up now. That's cool.
Because Justin's a techno wizard.
I'm just trying to make it easy for y'all, you know.
Justin, Kita was gonna get on and to share a story one time.
Yeah, we need to get. We're gonna work out all the details on that. We have a lot of people that want to share their story on here, and we're grateful for them wanting to. And like, I wish we could do 2 nights, but sometimes that's unmanageable.
Yeah, that's something that people behind the scenes don't know is that we are all full-time employed people with kids and
running around in the background.
Yeah, the kids are running by. You can't see them. And we also do a ton of service work. So it is
2 nights a week.
2 nights a week is the best we can do.
And Justin maintains this all the time. I mean, it's not, there's some weeks that I don't know how you do everything.
Awesome. Congratulations, Kita.
Yes, shout out to Kita.
I saw that, actually. Congratulations.
I remember the 11 months, so that's fantastic. She's been with us.
She's
ready.
It's the congratulations
for remembering something. I remembered something. And I'm always getting picked on for being old.
The 90s. She's like, no.
I don't remember the 90s. You don't remember the early 2000s. Potato.
I don't remember 2000, so.
That was the same. Yeah, 2010 was a bad year anyway.
And then my stepbrother, who we really like to party together, he will have 4 years sober in January.
Yay.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
He's doing great. He's doing wonderful. So it's just, it's incredible how this works. I had to go a year without talking to him because we were just absolutely volatile for each other. We were not good for each other. You know, he'd be like, I'm changing my life. And I'd come in with like his favorite booze and a handful of Xanax. I'd be like, what? You're going to do what? No, you're not. And so, you know, we were really good at pulling each other down, but now we get to like lift each other up.
That's awesome.
And have like actual normal conversations. It's amazing.
You see Missy Thang? Put that comment up there. Awesome, Missy.
Halloween.
On Halloween.
What a cool date.
That is awesome. Halloween's my favorite time.
Me too. My favorite season.
That's awesome. You know, it's like I got clean right before right like the day before St. Patty's Day. So, and I'm Irish, so it's like the same. All right.
My date coincides with getting locked up, so nothing special about it.
Samesies.
Samesies. All right. Well, anybody want to add anything before we wrap it up?
No.
I would just like to say, join us this Sunday.
Yes.
This Sunday, we are doing our topics night where we share about a topic that our host picks during the week. And this week we'll have Johnny hosting for this Sunday night topics. So he's going to pick a topic and we're going to all share about it and have a good show and have a good time. It's a good way to set the tone for the week coming up. And so you guys should join us 8 p.m. this Sunday.
8 p.m. this Sunday. Look forward to seeing you guys all on there. And, we appreciate all your support. Keep showing up, commenting, sharing. I keep cutting off Justin every time he tries to talk. Try it again.
Do it to you.
I was going to say, I'll have a link up for the freaking event as soon as we get done.
Yeah, and make sure you hit interested or going when the event comes up, and that way you get the reminder before, and that way you can catch us every week. So thank you, everybody who joined, liked, shared, commented. We appreciate you all, and hopefully we touch somebody tonight. Thank you so much, Kelsie.
Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Bye, guys.
everybody.